Hey guys, Victoria here, and welcome back to the Geeky Sandbox. Today we're going to be doing a non-spoiler review over the movie Crazy Rich. Guys, I've been trying to say Crazy Rich Asians quickly this entire week whenever filming stuff, and this is what's been happening. Crazy Rich Asians. Exactly. But like I was saying, we're going to do a non-spoiler review over the movie Crazy Rich Asians. Thank you. There's so much to talk about with this movie. There's so many layers, and I just want to leave a lot of it as a nice surprise for everyone, just because it is one of those movies where some people just have not seen it yet, and some people are still kind of curious about it. The plot is very easy to follow. It's very simple, but it has this nice and pleasant surprises. So it isn't something that you can just overly predict, because some of the stuff that happens, one of my friends, he's very into trying to figure something out before it happens. Though the thing I do love about him is that he doesn't just lean over and tell you like, oh, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. My sister is like that. But with him, he's very much so the kind of person that'll at the end be like, oh man, yes, I guess they're right, yada, yada, yada. But even him, he was shocked by the way some of the events played out in the movie with our main character, played by Constance Wu. And without giving you guys too much, I do want you to be able to know what the plot is about, so that way you can even determine if this movie is something you're even interested in. So Constance Wu's character is named Rachel Chu, and she's this Chinese American woman, and she falls in love and meets Nick Young, who's just this kind of average guy, things like that. And the story picks up where he kind of tells her you know what, they're at a point in a relationship now where he's like, you know what, I want you to meet my family. We're going to fly to Singapore. It's time. I really want them to meet you. I've been with you for X amount of years, so let's go ahead and get this thing going. Upon boarding the plane, a lot of hilarious stuff happens, and she finds out that Nick Young is rich, just absolutely crazy rich Asian. But she finds out that he's rich, and that his family, the Young family, is a very wealthy and well-known family in Singapore. And she understands that in regard to the difference with being brought up as a Chinese American girl versus someone who's just Chinese. She completely understands that difference, and she's prepared to meet his family and honestly try to win them over. So that's kind of the sense, that kind of gives you a sense of what the movie's about. So you can see that there is going to be a lot of drama in terms of culture and how one person is brought up versus another. The whole aspect of having money versus not having money, and what can you bring to the table? What can you bring to the family? And just a lot of hilarious things happens with her, and montages and her friends, and just her not really understanding some rich customs, because I'm not necessarily going to say Chinese customs, because though she was born in America, her mom is still instills some of those Chinese traditions and values in her. But in terms of rich traditions, a lot of funny stuff happens with her. But yeah, so the plot, I enjoyed it. It was, it was refreshing, because I wasn't overthinking or wondering, or honestly, I wasn't trying to think ahead. That's the best way for me to explain what the plot was like. I wasn't thinking ahead, and I was just kind of enjoying the ride. And so with that, the script was good, the writing was good, and these characters were believable for me. I felt like I could in some way relate to Rachel Chu, and I could relate to just the idea of maybe not fitting in and trying your best to win someone over, just to kind of in the end realize you don't have to do that. You know what I mean? So yeah, the script was good, the plot was good. In regard to the sound and music, of course, you guys know I always talk about that. Very good, very rich sound. I don't know if that's a good description. It was very rich, and it engrossed you into the movie. There's nothing like the background sound or the ambient sound or the music soundtrack just kind of being a character in the movie, because there's nothing like a movie with music that's going to pull you out of it, and you're hyper aware of what's happening, and maybe you're dancing too much, or maybe you're just kind of ooh, I don't really like that song. But this movie didn't have any of that. And before I get to actors and performances, I do want to talk about how visually appealing this movie was. The colors were very vibrant and rich and warm, and it kind of I don't know, you felt like you were watching the movie through Rachel's eyes. Like, Rachel is in Singapore for the first time, and she's seeing all these amazing things and seeing some of these customs from her culture that she's never seen before. You know what I mean? And so it's like some of us who aren't very familiar with everything in the Chinese culture or Asian culture in general, I don't know, you were all eye. The food was just amazing looking. Like, don't go see this movie on an empty stomach. I don't know why I couldn't say that, but don't go see this movie on an empty stomach. They have a lot of scenes with dumplings, and they have a lot of scenes with like just very organic like dishes. I don't know. It was just, oh God, I'm talking about it makes me hungry now. But it was really good, and it was pleasant to the eye. Like even the steam coming up from some of the dishes that they made. And even like there's a scene in the movie where they're making dumplings together as a family, and a lot of intense and good conversation come from that I think most viewers will enjoy. But it's like seeing this movie, we all see it through Rachel's eyes. And even from the beginning where things are very vibrant and she's very hopeful, to a certain point in the movie where maybe things don't look so hopeful and the colors don't look as bright and things may look a little like grim. So I do give the cinematographer big props for that, and just everyone involved with making this movie visually appealing, because you can have a great story and things like that, but it's just like whenever it comes to a movie, you also need to have other components that work well with the great story. And I think Crazy Rich Asians did a great job with that. Now, in regard to performances, like I said, Constance Wu is one of my favorite actresses. I really enjoyed her in this movie. She really brought a lot to the table as Rachel. Rachel was relatable. Rachel was likable. And you felt for Rachel. And to me, that's one of the most important things when it comes to an actor portraying a character. Do I care that this whole big thing happened to you? Do I care that you're embarrassed? And I cared about everything that happened to her. And I feel like that was what everyone felt in my theater. Like even there were a few women in front of us that were like talking back to the movie and just kind of like really being invested in her as a character. And that's just the most important thing. She's the main character of the movie. If you can't relate to the main character of the movie, then there's a problem. But luckily there was none of that. And then with Henry Golden, who plays Nick Young, he was actually very good too. Like I wasn't quite sure how I was going to feel about him aside from him being very handsome. I really enjoyed his performance, and I could tell that he really cared about Rachel. I can tell that he was really in a tight spot between trying to support Rachel and he wanted her to be a part of his family. And I think those two together were a great pair. Michelle Yeoh was very good, or Michelle Yeoh, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but Michelle Yeoh, she was really good as the mother in this film. She played Nick Young's mother. Oh my God, first of all, she was in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. And if you haven't seen that movie, first of all, go do your homework, go see that movie. It was really good. When seeing that she was going to be cast in this movie, we weren't surprised that she was phenomenal. She had that hard, like, very, like, intense, Chinese traditional mother kind of vibe going on. Like, whether she understood from knowing people or whether she just understood by being Asian, she knew, like, she portrayed that perfectly just based off of some things that other friends have told me. They're like, she nailed the traditional Chinese mom thing to a T. You walk out of that movie feeling like, I don't know, there was nothing more that Michelle could do. Like, she owned that role. And I just feel like she was just, I don't know, believable is just the word that I'm going with here for this entire cast. Like, even jumping over to Awkwafina. Awkwafina, she plays the friend in this movie, and the friend to Rachel Chu, and she was a great comic relief. She was supportive, and I don't know, you believe that she lived in Singapore, but she was separated from this rich family. Like, you could tell she was just living her life, her modern middle class life with her family. And I don't know, like, everybody should, whoops, my alarm went off. But yeah, everyone should want a friend like Awkwafina, her character in this movie. The question of the day, or as it always is on this channel, should you go see Crazy Rich Asians? Yes. Yes, of course. Go see Crazy Rich Asians. Go see it twice. Get it on DVD, or do what I'm going to do. I'm going to read the books. I need to figure out how many there are. I think it's a 3-book, like a 3-book series. So I don't know, maybe go read the books, and especially if you've seen the movies, read the book. That way you can be prepared for the second book, or excuse me, the second movie, if that's your thing. Because the other thing that's great about this movie is that it's done so well, that it's so impactful, and it's very entertaining. They've already been greenlit for their second film, and that's really exciting news, especially in regard to representation. There hasn't been a full Asian cast film in mainstream. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, that in itself is amazing. And that makes me incredibly happy to see that the Asian community are able to do that and captivate everyone. You want to see someone that looks like you, that motivates you, somebody you can relate to, and just especially if you're a young actress or a young director, you kind of want to see someone on the screen, whether it's TV, film, that you feel like will motivate you to do that as well. Because, you know, as much as I love Robert Downey Jr. and Evan Peters and like Blake Lively, like as much as I love people like that, it's refreshing when I can see someone like Viola Davis and Angela Bassett and Halle Berry and people like that, that kind of like, I don't know, make me feel good, especially people like Viola Davis, because being a dark-skinned Black woman, I like seeing that there's someone that like looks like me and someone that I can look up to in regard to acting. Because you guys know that I studied theater and film in college, and I want to branch out to become a writer and an actress, and being able to see that she's come so far and that she can do an Octavia Spencer, people like that, that warms my heart. So that's why I think this full Asian cast was incredibly important, not because it's some weird political agenda like some people are saying it is, but you know, what about people that are Asian that don't, or like, you know, what if there's this young Asian kid who wants to be a director like John Chu? Saying this movie was something important, you know what I mean? And like, you know, I know I'm on a soapbox, but to me this is important. I'm happy that this movie was successful. I have no problem with saying that I'm happy that that Asians were represented in this film. Like, of course, not every Asian person is the same. So there may be some people that don't agree with how the movie was structured and the way the culture was represented. But I'm happy that this is a step in the right direction for getting our Asian actors work that they deserve. Now, with all that being said, what do I give Crazy Rich Asians? Did I say Asians? Asians. Oh my God. 5 out of 5 geeks. If you like this video, guys, go ahead and give me a like rating down below, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're new to the Geeky Sandbox. And if you are a part of the Geeky Sandbox and you're missing my notifications, don't you worry, I've got you, friend. Hit that notification bell so that way you can get a notification every time I upload a video. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.